Right then, the transfer window is closed. Well, let's have a look. Did we actually learn anything in the transfer window? Well, I've got a funny feeling it might have been 5 things that we learned. So let's have a look at them. In at number 1, then, United's pull is eternal. We still attract the absolute best of the best. It's clearly a desirable destination for players to come and ply their trade. We had 3 world-class arrivals, which I think represents one of the best windows that United have had in a long, long time. The squad is now littered with star power or match winners. And there's no reason why, if there's a player out there that we need, that we can't go and get that person. We obviously paid the sort of wages which undoubtedly attract, and I think we're also becoming a team which can also bring in anybody that we need to. So those that had their doubts whether Ollie was a big enough name as a manager to be able to attract the top end, the top echelon of footballers, actually, when you listen to all of the ones that we signed this summer, there's something about Ollie particularly that they've all sort of mentioned. So that's nice to hear. Number 2, bargain business. United have managed to complete this transfer window by bringing in 3 world-class players. And I think all of them, Sancho maybe's pushing it a little bit, but I think you can call all of them pretty much a bargain. United have spent less than Arsenal, for example, and Arsenal are arguably in a worse place than they were last season after spending more than United did, which is unfathomable, to be honest with you. 3 world-class arrivals for less than £150 million outlay in the current market is ridiculous. Ronaldo's a £100 million striker, evidenced by the fact that Lukaku's a £100 million striker, and he outstruck him last season in the same league. I think Varane is a £100 million centre-half. He's comfortably on the same sort of echelon as Virgil van Dijk. Today's market, Virgil van Dijk's a £100 million, possibly age aside, but it's still a £100 million player. And last year, Dortmund wanted 120 for Jadon Sancho. We held our nerve. We managed to get him for like 50 million less. I think all of them can actually be called a bit of a bargain somewhat. So strong window from United, strong window from the board, an improvement from what we've seen in recent years. This is so contrasting to what we saw in Jose's last window, where we just signed a handful of backups. We literally had an Arsenal window and we paid for it in a massive way on and off the pitch. This year we've improved our first 11 and that is massive. In at number 3, wage bill has backfired. There's been a struggle to offload certain players. Anthony Martial, Jesse Lingard, Delot, Phil Jones, Donny van der Beek. Depending on what you think about it, supposedly that we held on to him after some interest from Everton on the final day. There's a lot of deadwood at United that we're struggling to get rid of. Some of it we did manage to get rid of. We managed to get Dan James gone. We're still lumbered potentially with Matic. Maybe there's a bit of a club model that needs changing. Maybe giving longer contracts to players approaching or in their 30s isn't something that United want to be doing. Those high wages that we've given them have made it more difficult for moving a lot of those players on. And I think fundamentally that if we could have cleared... I think regardless of whether you're Marshall FC or whatever you are, you can't deny that Anthony Martial is probably 5th or even 6th in the pecking order for getting a start at Manchester United at the moment. And he's on 250 grand a week. When you think about what Matic is on, what Phil Jones is on, what all of these players are picking up, Jesse Lingard ain't playing for free. You could probably have cleared £600,000 or £700,000 a week off the wage bill by players that aren't even playing for Manchester United. You free that up, you can attract any player in world football with that sort of extra money freed up. So, yeah, I think that the wages that United have paid, we was in a sticky situation the first 6 months that Ollie came as a caretaker manager. I believe there was like 11 first-team players, and in that was included Phil Jones. I think Ashley Young was in that. Anthony Martial was in that. All of these players needed their contracts extending. And because we didn't have a director of football at this time, and because we was in a situation where we was potentially going to lose that entire 11, then the club, and I don't think it was Ollie, I think it was the club, just went, no, get them signed up. And there's another reason why the club do that as well. The club see those contracts as assets, not liabilities, which for me is the wrong way around to look at that. If I'm paying Phil Jones 100 grand a week, well, if I'm paying Varane 100 grand a week or 200 grand a week, That is a liability that I've just signed up to for 4 or 5 years. But the club see that as an asset because that player's got a value, and when they're talking to the banks and this, that, and the other, they can put that down as an asset and include it in the club's valuation. So there's a different way that the club fundamentally looks at these sorts of things that I don't necessarily agree with. But that, I think, was one of the factors. The fact that they could have all just walked out for free being another factor. And the fact that we had to do so many of them at once that there was very little thinking and planning went into this. Because if there was, you would have gone, do you know what? Some of these can just leave and we'll be okay. And United didn't do that. United, if you watch, don't let very many players just walk out the door on a free. And do you know what? We should more. We should definitely do it more. Number 4, midfield mishap. No getting around this. I think most of us, romanticism aside, most of us would have gone, do you know what? An actual world-class number 6 over bringing in Ronaldo would have been preferential. Because even though now we've brought in Ronaldo, the starkness of what Manchester United lack now as a midfielder, in a number 6 to sort of sit in there, it's monumentally bad. The level of the team is so blatantly higher than the middle. Bagel FC, Donut FC, nothing in the middle. It looks like it could be the limiter on this football club this season. We really have a missing piece of the jigsaw. Now, the right wing was this obvious for years and years and years. Centre-back was a need, but not desperate. The striking situation, now Cavani was here, wasn't as desperate, but now we brought Cavani and you've also got Ronaldo. There will be a need for a striker soon unless Mason Greenwood fills that hole, and he might. But the need for a number 6 is desperate. It's very, very desperate. And unless the club are thinking, do you know what, we'll make do this year and go again hard next year, which they could be doing, it just feels like a missed opportunity. Because I think if you'd have gone for it, the rewards this season could have been monumental. We could have challenged for the lot. But I think we'll just be short. And I think a lot of that's because of the soft centre. No title challenge for us, unless someone else balls this up, I think. And number 5, linked into that, yeah, we need to challenge for some silverware. Now, it's interesting because I'm seeing a lot of pundits saying United have to win the league now they've signed Ronaldo, but at the same time, they're also saying Ronaldo won't win United the league, and also that United are behind City and Liverpool and Chelsea, right? You can't demand someone wins the league and then also say that they're probably the 4th best team in the league. I think United are comfortably 3rd. I think now Ronaldo makes our squad a touch better than Liverpool's. There's not a lot in it, but it's a touch better. I think we're still behind City and Chelsea. So I'm not going to say Ole has to win the league. I want to see a better challenge, though, and be in the mix, because there's a chance that they balls this up or they focus on a different competition, be there ready to snap it up. You could also see this team doing well in the Champions League. We've done brilliantly in the cup competitions under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and fell at the final or one before the final hurdle on numerous occasions. I would put this United side as one that could go very deep into the Champions League, where you're asking for a little bit of luck or a little bit of magic. And we have got match winners to be able to win us those games. I just don't think over the course of 38 games, this United side is comfortably the best team in England. And invariably, it's the best team in England that wins the Premier League. But in the Champions League, the best team doesn't always win. You need a bit of luck. You need some goals. And United have that. So I think United have to win some silverware. And I'm not sure an FA Cup would do it. I think it's got to be the Champions League. And you've just signed Champions League Varane. And you've just signed fucking Cristiano Ronaldo, who's got more Champions Leagues than this bloody club has got. We have got the squad. We have got an 11 that can go out and score us some goals and shock teams. And we can play at an intensity that not a lot of teams can live with. And we're good in the bigger games, generally. And with Ollie, I know that we go into them games with a way to win, not just a way to not lose. And I think that's massive. We have to win some silverware. And I weirdly think that being champions of Europe is a step easier, as Chelsea shown this year, than actually going and actually being the best team in England and winning the league. Let me know in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.